Hello there and welcome to Octopi Poker. If you've just signed up for a free community account, you are in the right place. I'm Matt Hunt and I'm going to be your guide for this video, and you'll see me around the site a lot as you go forward. Let's talk about solvers to kick things off. If they seem intimidating, don't worry, you're not alone. But here's why they're so valuable. Poker is an incredibly complex game built on mathematical variables. And let's be honest, humans aren't naturally great at understanding math intuitively. That's where solvers come in. They help us understand how the game really works at a fundamental level. So how do they actually work? Well, the solver runs billions of iterations, playing against itself using purely mathematical logic. The challenge is making all that data intelligible to us humans. That's why interpreting solver outputs is a skill in itself, and one that you'll develop over time. Now, you might be thinking, but my opponents aren't robots. You're absolutely right. Human players don't play exactly like the solver, though in some basic spots they can get surprisingly close. The real value of solver work is understanding the relevant variables in any given situation. You need that baseline understanding of theory before you can make effective adjustments and exploit your opponents. And remember, the solver would absolutely crush any human player, so it's a pretty good teacher. Now let's talk about one of your key tools, the preflop range viewer. This gives you access to advanced, high-precision solver outputs right at your fingertips. So let me show you a little bit about how to actually access and use the preflop range viewer here. We're starting off at the Octopi homepage. You can see I'm logged in right up here under my Poker Fluency account. And if you just go straight to Sims, you'll see the basic preflop range viewer right here. You've got this table that represents all the positions. You've got your stack sizes. You've got other options there that some of them are going to give you the opportunity to upgrade your account because they are more advanced functions. But if you just want to, let's say, investigate a specific spot pre-flop, let's say I want to figure out what my opening range should be on the button when I'm 30 big blinds effective. I can do one of two things. I can either just click fold a bunch of times and go through all the different ranges here until I get to the button, or if I reset, I can actually just click straight to the button and then it immediately shows me the range. And if I want to look at what the blinds are going to do in response to that, well, we just click the raise 2 and immediately we have the small blinds response right there. Now we can highlight different areas of the range if we want. We can highlight the calling range, the 3-bet range, the shoving range, and so on, even the folding range if we want. And of course, if we want to see what the big blind does after the small blind calls, we can see that too, as you can see right here. So you've got all the ranges, all the bet sizes, and you can really dig deep and do some analysis here in terms of what the strategies look like. Now, there are a few things that I think you need to keep in mind when it comes to studying with the preflop range viewer or with preflop solves in general. So here are some tips for studying preflop scenarios effectively. First, always look at both the strategy and the response to that strategy, because seeing the full picture is crucial. Take notes on what you observe so you can start recognizing patterns. And when comparing different simulations, change just one variable at a time rather than comparing wildly different spots. And if you're curious about something, post it on our Discord server, which I'll talk about in a little bit to discuss it with the Octopi community. Next up is the trainer function, where you can put your reps in playing against our resident octopus friend, George. So let's check that out now. So once again, we are back here on the Octopi homepage, and I'm going to go straight to the trainer option in the top left here. You're just going to be able to hit the start training button right here, and it's going to take you right into some drills that are going to teach you a little bit about various spots. Now, the first hand that we've been dealt here is we have 30 big blind stacks all around. We're on the button, and the hijack is going to open to 2 big blinds. We have 10-9 offsuit. Well, I think this is just a fold, so we're going to hit fold. And it's going to tell us that we made the correct play. So perfect play. We didn't make a mistake or a blunder. Blunder obviously is a significant mistake. Mistake is when it's just slightly off. And as you can imagine, we're just going to be able to put in a lot of reps like this. It's a great way to train and practice and make sure that you can identify and highlight some areas where maybe you can put in a bit more study. You can also see here on the right-hand side that if you hover over this game tree structure, you can actually see the strategy for each of the situations that you're in. So you can see the strategy for this spot, button versus hijack. You can quite easily put in a ton of reps here and learn a lot just from seeing what these pre-flop strategies look like. You'll also be able to see If you go into a post-flop situation, which we may see in this particular spot, let's see if we call here, see what happens with the ace-4 of diamonds. Probably pretty reasonable, I would think. We do go to a flop. Villain checks. Let's bet here. Villain calls. You can see the strategy right there. So we can look at the view of the full strategy. We're going to check now. We turn to 4. Probably going to be okay to check. Solver does want to bet quite a lot, though. That's quite interesting. Villain bets. We're going to call, do a bit of bluff catching. And it looks like it is a good call. So we did pretty well right there. And if we want to look at, let's say, the strategy for villain to play this spot, we can click on it right from the trainer and we can view the scenario right here. So there's a lot of different stuff that we can do once we get into this post-flop viewer. You'll find tutorials about the post-flop viewer on our YouTube channel. So if you go check those out, you'll get a lot more info about how to navigate all of these post-flop sims. But as you can see, just from the trainer, you're able to get a lot of insight based on the hands that you're able to put in and the repetitions that you're able to play against George here. So trainer is a valuable resource, but as with the pre-flop viewer, there are a few things you have to keep in mind. So let's cover those before we move on. So here's how to really get the most from your training sessions. First, take your time and really think through your actions. Don't just click buttons mindlessly. If you can, narrate your thought process out loud. This helps to solidify your reasoning. Make notes when you find spots you don't understand, and then, you guessed it, post them on Discord for advice and deeper insights. Speaking of Discord, let's talk about engaging with the Octopi community. You don't have to do this alone. Share your poker journey with other players. Our Discord server is where you can connect with other players and supercharge your study process. Here's how to get the most from it. Responding to others' questions is just as important as asking your own. Stay curious and always look for deeper insights. If you're confused about a spot, go ahead and post it. And don't forget to celebrate your successes and the successes of others in the community, because a supportive environment and community makes all the difference in the learning process. You'll find the link to the Discord community in your welcome email. Now let me point you to some useful resources so you always know where to go. For issues, outages, and updates, check out the Known Issues channel on Discord. For bug reporting, go to Issues and Bugs. New feature requests to, you guessed it, request new features, and Octopi News to know when new features are added. And finally, meet George. He's our resident octopus friend and helpful poker assistant. George knows everything about the Octopi platform and can offer advice on basic poker concepts. Fair warning though, he doesn't actually understand strategy yet, but he's great for navigating the site and answering your questions about how things work. All right, that's your introduction to Octopi Poker. You've got powerful solver tools, a trainer to build your skills, and an amazing community to learn alongside. The journey to becoming a better poker player starts here. Jump in, start exploring, and we'll see you on the Discord server. Good luck at the tables.